I'm going to be giving away my entire organic strategy that will make me $50,000 a month, only working 30 minutes a day. And the crazy thing about this is my client actually forced me to give away all the secrets that makes a easy organic strategy print. I'm going to be honest with you guys too as well. I'm going to make this super easy for you, as I think organic content, people blow it all out of the waters because they have to make their whole brand about making money with organic content. So they try to give you new things to do every single day. When in fact, you can really just do this with 30 minutes, maybe an hour max a day. Keep it super simple as long as you understand the key types of contents that you need to create in order to build your organic brand that's going to inject quality leads and have them wanting to work with you and pay you thousands of dollars. And like I said, my client forced me to come up with this for you guys because I took a little hiatus. I got married, and during the time when I was getting married, like I took a good month off, stopped posting content, really wanted to just enjoy that season of life. And during that season of life, I was mainly like letting my agency and my growth operating partners make me money. So I wasn't really too worried about bringing people into my personal brand and try to sell them on my coaching. But I came back and talked to one of my clients who has been with me for a while, and he always likes to hop on one-on-one calls with me. And he's like, man, I want to grow my organic strategy. I'm like, well, this is exactly what I'm going to be doing because it feels like I'm rebooting the process again. I'm getting just back into organic, and I know exactly what needs to be done in order to scale this out. Now, another thing that I realized as well when I was getting married, there was a certain type of way that I wanted to approach organic content that's going to get me clients versus what I see a lot of other people doing out there and preaching. Because to be honest with you, I have a very specific philosophy around organic content. One of them is don't want to carry a camera around everywhere I go. I just don't want to be that guy. No offense against anybody who's doing that. Mainly we see younger dudes doing it. They're traveling, they're carrying the camera, they're talking to friends, and that's great organic content. But I'm married now. And I'm starting a family, actually. And I don't want to carry a camera when I'm going on family vacations or when I'm out with my wife and I'm just talking about business. I don't want to record our entire life. And I also don't want to showcase a lavish lifestyle. That means I'm going to have to showcase very intimate parts with me and my family. And I don't want to do that while having kids. The other part of my core philosophy is keeping everything as bare bones as possible. No fancy gear other than just maybe this camera that's recording YouTube videos. But that's it. Like, I just have my iPhone. You'll see soon, like, what types of content I'm going to be creating, but nothing fancy. The other one is I just don't want to exceed more than 30 minutes to an hour a day. People preach like organic content, like that has to be where all your attention goes to. That's great, but I don't want to be doing more than 30 minutes to an hour a day on average. And lastly, I thought this was important to put in there. Creating organic content in this way is not about being lazy. I want to make that very clear. I just want to be super intentional of what I'm putting out and pulling the biggest levers that are going to bring me clients. By the way, this is everything that I tell my current one-on-one clients to do as well, and it works out super well for them. Give you guys a little bit more context. By now, you might be asking, who the heck am I if this is your first time watching this video? Well, I've been in this space for quite a while. I've actually built my followers all the way up to 76,000, actually 80,000 at one point on this one account. I got some of the biggest people in this space to recognize me, someone like Russell Brunson who followed me, and I was doing $70,000 a month, purely organic. So I know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to be sharing with you what worked in scaling this Instagram out and selling services on the back of it. And I'm going to be telling you what I'm going to be changing and doing better or different going further. So this is going to be super valuable for you guys. Now, to be able to do this 30 minutes to an hour a day on content, if that, there's a few styles that I'm going to be focusing on. Like I said, nothing fancy. The only thing that gets even slightly remotely fancy is the client calls. Just propping up my camera. Whenever I have a client call or group meeting, I'm going to record it and see if we could get some good clips out of it. But what that's going to do is allow me to leverage things that I'm doing. Okay, I'm spending an hour talking to a client, might as well leverage that into content, of course. The other style that I'm really going to be going with is yapping. I think if you're somebody who knows how to hit on the key points and build a personal brand through yapping, which I'm literally about to cover in a second, then yapping is going to work perfect for you. Now, I used to never consider myself a good yapper, but recently, before I got married, I started getting into the yapping thing. And there's a few key things that can make you really good at it. But the important thing I want to preach is that we're yapping to bring in clients. I think a lot of people out there are preaching just do yapping as a way to go viral and get views. I take yapping in a different direction. I use it to bring in clients, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. The other one is just YouTube clips. I'm recording a YouTube video right now. Is there anywhere that I can make a clip from it that would be enticing? Now, I'm not going to rely on this too much because, to be honest with you, typically YouTube clips don't work as well unless you built up your brand, your personal brand, getting people interested in you. But these two ones are really going to be the main ones that's going to allow me to do this for 30 minutes to an hour a day. Now, I really want to simplify this. This is all you need to understand for your organic content strategy that's going to produce $50,000 a month, purely organic. It's just 3 buckets you need to think about and then a few things to keep in mind as you're creating the content for these buckets. So the number 1, obviously, is top of funnel. Number 2, middle funnel. And number 3, bottom of funnel. You can tell that middle of funnel here is where most of the time and attention is going to go to, because that's where I'm giving you the most advice. But middle of funnel is going to be the most important, but it's still important to understand where top of funnel has its place and how to take top of funnel leads, and convert them into more clients. So let's focus on top of funnel. So the top of funnel content, the purpose of it is to bring more leads into your ecosystem. Introduce yourself to people, because I think a lot of people in this space get really focused on middle of funnel and bottom of funnel content, only speaking to ICP, only handling their objections and stuff like that. Whereas just doing that, you're never going to get pushed out by the algorithm. You're always going to be stuck in this 100 to 1,000 view area. Whereas top of funnel content, the whole purpose of it is we're trying to go anywhere from, I don't know why I'm putting a dollar sign, anywhere from 4,000 to 40,000 views. And this is what I call niche viral. That is the purpose of what I'm trying to do here. And so what we need to understand, in order to go niche viral, we need to begin to broaden our topics that we create. And when you think about like broadening your topics, it's really discovering the intersection between what your ICP will be interested in and what your dream followers will be interested in. There's a key difference between ICP and dream followers. Dream followers are the individuals that you can see yourself being friends with. You share common interests and you share common topics. ICP is the individuals that can be your client. So when you're creating content, you would have to keep in mind of what are the topics that are broader that you can talk about that would hit on ICP and dream followers. So let me show you an example of this. So this is a really funny one where I talk about why does every girl have an illness right now. Has nothing to do with, trying to sell anybody, but it's more so to do with getting my face out there. I knew this was a broader topic that would get people who could potentially be interested in my offer onto my page. And the reason why is because the dream follower of mine is interested in topics like this. They're interested in health. They're interested in their partner's health, which is important. So I talk about that. Another one here that started to like break out of just the 1,000 view gate was about creating a vision board, and how if you're a business owner, it's important your vision board aligns with your actual beliefs. Now, I'm not talking about middle funnel stuff of how to scale your coaching brand, how to convert more leads, how to do sales calls, right? I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about what just in general, the people that I would love to be friends with would be interested in, which is scaling their business. Doesn't matter if you're a coach or not. Anybody could have resonated with this. This is pushing me outside of my bubble so other people can see me. The next part of this top of funnel strategy is buyer injectors. And this is something that I did when I was scaling my first account all the way up to 70,000 followers. I really relied on this strategy to get in very high quality leads while going niche viral. And this is one tactic that, looking back on everything that I've done, I do not know why I am not doing this more. Because when I scaled to $70,000 a month, and 70,000 followers, I was doing this consistently. These types of buyer injectors. Consistency is really the key. You want to do buyer injectors. When I, at the peak of my, posting on social media, I was doing a buyer injector every single week, sometimes twice a week. And so you're probably asking at this point, what is a buyer injector? A buyer injector is just a fancy term for lead magnet. But the way I structure lead magnets is different from how most people preach about lead magnets. When you're creating a buyer injector lead magnet, the important point is you only want to get buyers with it. But this also gives you the potential to go viral because it's something that's super valuable for anybody who could potentially be a client of yours. And of course, you're attaching ManyChat onto this video, increases the engagement. Now, how do you go about creating these buyer injectors so that it's only attracting quality leads? Because that's all I care about, to convert people. I'm going to have a whole other breakdown on this, but to talk about it real quick, just to give you like the sauce so that you can take this and run with it, this is how to go about it. There's really a couple things that I'm looking for. Number one, if I'm meeting the market with where they are at. So what do I mean by this? A lot of people tend to get lost in the sauce of creating content, and they're like, why isn't anybody watching my stuff? It's because you're trying to introduce these new ideas, which can be valuable there, but there is a risk to introducing a new idea into your market. So what I like to do is think about, what do my potential clients need that would be super valuable towards them and getting over a certain problem? So with one video that I created, I'm going to show you an example here. I just decided to meet the market where they're at. I know resource pages are very important, and you can go to my page and be able to get my resource page if you want. Just comment on this video. So instead of trying to get all fancy with it, I just gave away my resource page. And because I met the market where they're at. They needed something like this. Nobody has done it for them, and I did it for them. And so I provided a super valuable lead magnet that's tailored to my buyers. The other thing that I'm thinking about when it comes to creating these buyer injectors is, am I solving a bleeding neck problem for my ICP? So you'll notice that the resource page I just showed you fits within this. When you're giving away a lead magnet, you're not trying to get them to the outcome that you promise within your offer. You were just trying to help them with the smallest little aspect that's kind of like a bleeding neck problem. If you just patch that up, it can help them move along in their journey. So that's really important. And typically how you want to position these things are, if you get this now, it will fix your problem in literally like 5 minutes to 3 days. So once again, it's not a value piece that you're giving to them that's going to take them 15 days to install and get it working. And so if you do this every single week where you post a lead magnet that fits this formula here, you are going to be driving a ton of leads into your ecosystem. So this is all you have to worry about when it comes to top of funnel. The point of it is to inject leads. Now, however, we do not want to stop there, because just injecting leads doesn't mean that they're going to convert. We need to focus on middle funnel and bottom of funnel that gets people to convert. And particularly for the middle funnel, what we're going to be focusing on here is building authority and trust. These are essentially the foundations to getting somebody really interested in you, your personal brand, so that whatever content that you post, they just frankly watch it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, and starts to gear them up to wanting to buy your. So there's a couple things that I'm doing within my content strategy in order to accomplish this. The first is belief content. Now, what I mean by belief content is not talking about your beliefs. That's actually under values here, which we'll talk about in a second. But it's more so leading people to how you get results, your mechanism, okay? How do you specifically get results for people? Why is your mechanism, the pathway that you give as a coach, better than anybody else's? And a lot of the content that you have to create should lead towards your mechanism, building belief in it. Because when you build belief in your mechanism, your viewers start to see that as the only way to succeed. So just for example, if like your mechanism, let's say you're a fitness coach. So you're a fitness coach and your mechanism is identity programming. So instead of just giving you a workout plan and patting you on the back and saying, good luck, you actually really work with the people who are in your fitness program on their identity so that being healthy is natural. Good mechanism, by the way, if you're a fitness coach. So that's my mechanism. The content I create should be getting people really interested in this mechanism and building the belief towards that. When it comes to mechanisms, you actually really don't want to overcomplicate them. You don't want to make them sound too fancy, too logical, or too much of connecting the dots for this to make sense. You just want it to be simple. Some of the best mechanisms in the space are the simplest mechanisms, like just run ads. My mechanism to getting you to your outcome is running ads. Or my mechanism to getting you towards your outcome is great personal branding. Or my mechanism is webinars. These are just some people in my space that I'm calling out. You just want to get people to believe that, hey, running ads is the best thing since sliced bread. This is definitely what's going to get me to the next level in my business. So you're creating content that forces people into that. Okay, so the next one is values. As a coach, it is important to talk about your values because this is what's going to really get people interested in you. And I'm sure you've heard of this before. You're not just selling your service, your coaching, you're also selling yourself. The people that are going to invest into you want to know, like, and trust you. There's two types of values that you want to share. The number one is the values that are within your offer. Number two is your values on life, your perspective on how people should run their life. Now, these can often interlap, but to create a clear difference for you and explain what this is, the values of within your offer are more so telling people who you would work with on how to think to get the result you promise. So think about the person who is coming to you who has a problem and then the person that you've helped be successful. How are they thinking differently? That is what you need to share within your content to get people really interested on your perspective of getting results, your perspective on being successful with the thing that you're teaching. Number two is just life values. These are things outside of your offer. For me, it's things with like relationships, building a business, plus a family, which does kind of overlap, but that's okay. For some people, it could be like religion. Can you talk about religion? And people are going to really respect you for this and start to trust you and start to want to hang out around you, aka also investing into you. So sharing your values is really, really important. The other part to sharing your values and building this trust and building your authority is leaning into your unfair advantages. I think a lot of coaches do not understand what their unfair advantage is, so there's nothing unique about them within the market. They sound just like everybody else. Now, to figure out your unfair advantage, there's a couple things I want you to do. Number one, listen to all your sales recordings. Understand why the people are even hopping on a call with you specifically. Why you and why not everybody else? They're going to tell you exactly what your unfair advantage is. They're going to tell you exactly why they liked you. Obviously, feed all that to ChatGPT or Claude. Ask Claude to recognize the patterns of why people are coming for you. You want to lean into that more. You want to make your personal brand more of that. The second one is turning what you might think are disadvantages into advantages. So, quick story for you. I used to think that the way I operate within my daily life and pairing that with social media was an advantage for me. I'm super private in my real life. I don't go out and travel a whole bunch because I generally like being in my apartment, working on my business, being with my wife, and now I'm also wanting to start a family. So I'm like, can't showcase my life, can't do all this. So I'm turning a disadvantage into advantage by leaning into this a bit more, which is, I already kind of mentioned it, building a family plus a business. And I can talk about my philosophies, talk about my values around that, my beliefs around that, which would get people really interested in me and build that trust. Okay, the other part to this is being a contrarian. And contrarian is one of the best forms of marketing that you can do, because if you're not a contrarian, by definition, you are playing it safe on social media. And when you play it safe, you are not standing out. There's no reason for anybody to choose you over your competitors or anybody else inside your niche. So it's important to be a contrarian. It forces people to pick a side. Now, when being a contrarian, there are some rules that I have to this. Number one, don't call out anybody specific. The last thing that you want to be known for in your space is creating drama with everybody else. Yes, it's going to get you views. Yes, it might cause people to pick a side with you, but it's really overall going to taint your image if you just keep on doing that. And I'm just not a fan of calling out anybody else. What you really want to do, which is number 2, is call out ideas and methods that you do not agree with. There's certain methods that people teach within your space, or a lot of people teach in your space. Call that out. Like if you're a fitness coach, you can call out the way doctors go about everybody's health. That's just a really like blanketed idea, but you get the point. Being a contrarian is really, really important. Overall, what this is going to do is start to build your authority and your trust. There's one more thing that I almost forgot to add to the middle of the funnel, which I think by far is the most important thing. I don't know how I almost forgot it, which is show versus tell. I really think we're moving into a space where people don't want to be told what to do over and over and over again, because anybody can copy a video or ChatGPT it and then have no experience and just create a video and tell people what to do. The market wants to be shown what to do. They want to see that you are a leader, and you have to talk about the little things that you are doing to see success. If you're in the B2B space, you don't have to talk about how you scaled to hundreds of thousands of dollars. You just need to talk about little small wins that you're getting and how you're doing it. This concept by far is the key difference of what's going to build your authority. And I ran a study with over 200 pieces of content, half of them being content pieces that talk about their clients' results. 9 out of 10 times when talking about their results, the videos perform better. So this is really, really important. Show versus tell, that's going to build your authority like no other. I can create an entire different video on that if you'd like. So bottom of funnel, I'm going to make this super quick because there isn't really anything special about it, if I'm going to be straight up honest. The only thing that you can consider special is mini VSLs. Now, what's a mini VSL? Well, if you don't know what a VSL is, it's a video sales letter. So it's just a mini version of a video sales letter where you're really just selling somebody on you, your mechanism, and the results you've gotten. And this is kind of correlating with show versus tell. You want to make these mini videos where you talk about a result you've either gotten for yourself or a result that you've gotten for a client. And it doesn't have to be the big result, although that does help, but you're just breaking down the process of what you did, how you did it differently than everybody else, and why your mechanism, why your method works well. And you're showcasing that. You're doing it in a 30 to 60 second video. Okay. And I'm going to show you a quick example for this. So here's a mini sales letter of me literally breaking down how I attract rich leads. I've shown you this example before. Some things can kind of overlap so that they buy from you and pay you up front. For proof, here's a video. I literally say, here's proof. Here's a video of me helping a client out and attracting rich leads, breaking down how I got a 12K client and how I got a 12K client myself. And then I go into the process that I use to get rich leads. So that's it. That's all you want to do. You want to just break down how you got results. This is bottom funnel content that's going to get people really interested in your method and also showcase that, hey, I help people do this. I am a coach. I can help you too. And you can even tie CTAs to this as well. The second to last thing here is story sequences. Story sequences, I'm going to create a whole entire different video on this, but it's bottom of funnel content because the people who are viewing your stories are the people who are most likely going to convert. They're the highest intent individuals. And how you want to structure your story sequences is really just taking everything that I just told you and putting it into story sequences. Now, there are some nuances to it, so that's why I'm going to create a separate video. But if you just want to get good at story sequences really well without overthinking anything, just take all of this and start doing it in your stories. Talk about your beliefs, talk about your values, showcase results, give away some free lead magnets. It can be very valuable for your prospects, and you should be good to go there. Okay, testimonials. Obviously, we want to show that it can work for others. This is going to be great bottom of funnel content to make people feel that, hey, if I bought your thing, it's going to work for me. So we're showcasing testimonials, and the types of testimonials that we're showcasing, of course, is iPhone testimonials, recordings from your clients with just the iPhone saying their experience. We're also then doing case study breakdowns. And then, if you do an interview with your client, we're turning that into a story. If you can find a great clip within that interview of what, how the client felt before, his situation before, how he felt during the process, the things that he did during the process, and then the outcome that he achieved, then this is going to be a really good clip that you can put into your organic strategy. So you want to develop a story around it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Don't overcomplicate this. Really, like, if you want to get good, if there's like 3 things that you can take away from this, do buyer injectors, get really good at creating those, and do it consistently once a week. And then focus on your middle of funnel content. This is where most people mess up. You just want to build the belief in you, build the belief in your mechanism, and you'll have people drooling to work with you by the end of this. All right, so that's the video. Hopefully that wasn't too complicated for you guys. If you have any questions, just leave it down in the YouTube comments, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.